The Birth of the MCU, Episode 14. Long ago, a group of beings called the clandestines were exiled from their home, a dimension called the Noor. These weren't humans. They were jinn, beings of light and energy, now trapped on Earth with no way back. For centuries, they searched for anything that could open a doorway home. In 1942, their search led them to British-occupied India, where they discovered an abandoned temple. The temple bore a familiar symbol, 10 interlocking rings. This was an outpost of the Ten Rings organization, the same empire built by Xu Wenwu during the Middle Ages when he discovered the 10 rings and used them to conquer for 1,000 years. Inside, they found something unexpected, a blue arm protruding from the rubble, the remains of a Kree. Now, the Kree are an ancient alien race that have been traveling the cosmos for millions of years. We'll get into their full history later in this series, but for now, just know they're one of the most powerful civilizations in the universe, and one of them had died here long ago with something important still attached to their arm, a bracelet. Not just any bracelet, a quantum band. These bands were ancient Kree artifacts of immense power. They could manipulate energy, open portals across space, and most importantly for the clandestines, potentially open doorways between dimensions. But there was a catch. They needed both bands to fully open a portal home, and this was only one of the pair. One of the clandestines, a woman named Aisha, put the band on her arm and immediately felt it, the Noor, the light-based energy from her home dimension. It was weaker here on Earth, but still potent. But there was a catch. Najma, the group's leader, explained they needed both bands to fully open a stable portal home. With only one, attempting to return could be catastrophic. Before they could search for the second band, they heard it. Explosions, soldiers. The British army was approaching. The temple began to collapse around them. The group was forced to scatter and flee. They never reunited. Aisha escaped with the bracelet and went into hiding. Over time, she changed. She met a man named Hassan, a local activist, and fell in love. They had a daughter named Sana. But in 1947, the partition of India tore the subcontinent apart. Amid the chaos and violence, Aisha's family was forced to flee for the newly formed Pakistan. During the mass exodus at a crowded train station, young Sana got separated from her parents, but that's a story for later. Aisha eventually passed the band down through her family, from Sana to her daughter Muniba, and finally to Muniba's daughter, a teenage girl in New Jersey named Kamala Khan. When Kamala puts on that bracelet decades later, it will unlock powers she never knew she had. But that story is still a long way off.